Guys, we are here. We are here at the ending of Secret Invasion. Y'all, this is crazy. I love the ending of this book. Honestly, I love the ending of this event right here because it was one heck of a way to wrap up this event. Now, with that being said, I do want to say something real quick. Why in the world are we now hating on this event 15 years later? Like, originally, I remember correctly, a lot of people loved this event, and now we're going to say, oh, it was trash, it was horrible, it was never good. Hold up now. Why are we going to switch up here for? Because I remember this event getting praised years after it was wrapped up. I remember back in 2016, folks were still talking about Secret Invasion. And now we're going to say in 2023, oh, it was never good. It was bad. It was trash. That's crazy, y'all. It's actually pretty good. Stop with the fake hate. Either way, though, getting into Secret Invasion, the ending, if you're new to Marvel Comics and you have no idea what is the actual idea of Secret Invasion, let me explain. So back in 2008, Marvel had this crazy idea to try something new with the alien race known as the Skrulls. Now, Skrulls have the ability to actually shapeshift. And with that ability right there, they were going around the earth kidnapping people and then replacing those people with fellow Skrulls. And then those fellow Skrulls would pretend to be the people that they had kidnapped. It was a secret invasion as a way to make the earth weak so that they'll be able to actually take over the earth and add the earth into their empire. Now, with all that being said, they were replacing people in governments, but also heroes as well, and villains as well. And like I said, as a way to make the earth weak enough so that they'll be able to take over the earth. That was their big master plan. Now, with all that information being said, though, we're now at the end of the storyline, the final battle, because now the heroes know who is a Skrull and who is not a Skrull. And right now, they're going to have a final battle in the middle of New York City. Now, here is the big thing, though, with the final battle, because even though it looks like the Skrulls are about to lose, the Skrulls still have one more plan up their sleeve, and they're hoping this final plan can still help them win in some kind of way. But on top of that, though, our heroes are about to lose one of their loved ones, and it's someone who was a founding member of the Avengers. That is how huge this ending is. And so getting into Secret Invasion number 7, I do want to point out something real quick. When it comes to the opening pages of this book right here, it is literally just big on time fighting. Yes, I said big on time fighting because the fight is big time, y'all. Literally, it's Brian Michael Bendis saying, if this is going to be the final battle between the Skrulls and the heroes of Earth, then we need a lot of action, and we need that action to be spread out across most of the book to show the readers that things have popped off. The heroes are very serious about the idea of taking down the Skrulls and getting the Earth back in their hands. And so right now, you have a big final battle in the middle of New York. Now, here's something else I want to point out real quick. When it comes to our heroes right now, as they're fighting against the Skrulls, they're also fighting against Skrulls that are using powers of people they know. So for example, Wolverine, as he's fighting against the Skrulls, he may run into a Skrull that has the powers of Cyclops or Nightcrawler or even Jean Grey. And that's the point of the Skrulls. When they had kidnapped you and pretended to be you, they're also able to use your powers as well. And so right now, our heroes are just trying to adjust to the idea of fighting against an armies of Skrulls that may have the powers of their fellow friends. Now, on top of that, you do have our heroes trying to get to Spider-Woman. Now remember, this is not the real Spider-Woman. That is Queen Varanki, the queen of the Skrulls. But let's not forget, she had also replaced one of the heroes of Earth. And of course, that was Spider-Woman, because it gave her the ability to join S.H.I.E.L.D., the Avengers, Hydra, and try to make all three organizations weak enough so that it'll be easier to take over the Earth. It was her who said in their prophecy that the earth would be theirs one day. And because of her prophecy, she had a lot of backing from fellow Skrulls because they believed her. Oh, you're telling us in our prophecies, our gods told us the earth is going to be ours one day? Cool, we're down to actually help you. And so that is why she was able to get an army here to fight against the heroes of Earth. But right now, you have our heroes just trying to get to the queen and to hopefully kill her off. Now, real quickly though, we do pick up with Spider-Man and Iron Fist, and I kind of find this moment very funny. And the reason why, because you have Spider-Man actually talking to Iron Fist and saying, you know what, we might actually win this battle. Now for Iron Fist, he's wondering how in the world are you going to declare that so easily? And you have Spider-Man say, this is a huge event. And you know what happens usually when there is a huge event? The Watcher is watching us. But the Watcher is not here watching us, which means that we are supposed to win this battle and technically take out the Skrulls so easily. Except that is the moment when Spider-Man looks up, the Watcher is there. Him and his big head is right there watching this battle happen. And so for Spider-Man, he's now wondering, okay, maybe we're about to lose, because if the Watcher is here, he wants to know how the outcome is actually going to be. Are we going to lose? Are they going to win? Are we going to win and they're going to lose? Like right now, it's the Watcher just watching the Skrulls fight against the heroes of Earth. But then we jump over to Avengers Tower. Now, when we do, this is the moment where I'm going to have to ask you guys to think back to the earlier parts of our coverage over Secret Invasion. And what I mean by that is, remember, in the earlier parts of Secret Invasion, we had saw that Luke Cage and Jessica Jones' daughter was technically kidnapped by the Skrulls. Now, we had no idea how that happened. And this section right here is going to tell us. Because right now, you have Jessica Jones telling us that she feels like she needs to help out the rest of the heroes to fight against the Skrulls. And so she leaves her child with Jarvis. Now remember, this is not Jarvis. We saw that in the earlier parts of our coverage over Secret Invasion, that Jarvis was one of the characters who was also replaced. And so with that being said, this is a Skrull right now pretending to be Jarvis, but this is Jessica believing it's the real Jarvis. And so she does give her child over to the fake Jarvis to hopefully join the rest of the heroes to fight against the Skrulls, but not realizing that she just gave her baby to a Skrull. And right now, this Skrull is going to take her baby away. But then we get another cool moment, and this is where you have a particular hero turning bad to good. And what I mean by that is we pick up with Marvel Boy. Now remember, in the earlier parts of our coverage, we learned that Marvel Boy was a bad guy. He is a bad guy, or was a bad guy. And of course, when it came to the Illuminati, they told him, you have two choices. Be a bad guy and stay here in this prison, or be a good guy, get out of this prison, and then help us protect the Earth. Now, at first, Marvel Boy did not want to do that at all, but that was the moment he met the fake Captain Marvel. Because remember, Marvel Boy is from the Kree alien race. When it comes to Captain Marvel, the original one, he's also part of the alien race known as the Kree. But in Secret Invasion, we had a Skrull that was turned into Captain Marvel as a way to weaken the Earth. The problem was, though, that Skrull truly believed that he was Captain Marvel so much that he wanted to die as Captain Marvel. But he was able to make Marvel Boy change his mind and actually help out the heroes. But getting back to the battle continues on. You literally have our heroes being able to take out Skrulls left and right. And it does seem like the heroes are about to win this battle. It does seem like the Earth is about to be saved once again by the heroes of Earth. But unfortunately, something big is about to happen, because this is only Secret Invasion number 7. We still got one more chapter of the main series to actually cover. And so that is the moment we actually pick up with Hawkeye right now, just killing off Skrulls left and right. Bam, 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 bam. But when it comes to Hawkeye, he does shoot one particular arrow through the mouth of the Queen of the Skrulls, Varanki. And so when that happened, you had a fellow Skrull see her and he freaks out. And of course, that Skrull that freaked out is the fake Hank Pym. Because again, we learned in the earlier parts of our coverage, Hank Pym was another character that was replaced as well. But when it comes to this Hank Pym, he actually had a backup plan just in case his queen had failed. And that was turning, of course, the Wasp, Janet, into a living bomb. Yes, you heard that right. Because when he had replaced Hank Pym, he actually tried to fix the relationship between Hank Pym and Janet. And so he gave her a new growth serum. And as a way for her to get big, of course, it was also a way for him to put a bomb inside that growth serum so that she'll blow up the entire Earth. And so it seems like the heroes are about to lose. And so getting into the 8th and final issue of the main storyline, we do pick up with the death of the Wasp, because they did make her into a living bomb, a bomb to be used to technically kill off the heroes of Earth, but also everything else on the Earth if she has the ability to actually do that. It was a way for the Skrulls to actually win. And the Skrulls who were on Earth with this bomb, they knew what could possibly happen to them if they stay on the Earth. And so they were okay with actually dying. But this was a huge scene because you're technically talking about the death of the Wasp. Now, you do have Thor jump in and say, listen, because right now she's technically just energy and explosive energy, what I'm going to do is spread her particles across the world, meaning that I am going to literally break her apart and spread her across the world so that she cannot explode and do much damage to the Earth. And so, of course, you have Thor actually do that, but it was the only way to save the Earth. But again, it was the death of the Wasp, a huge loss for the Avengers. Now, this is the moment where we actually jump into Dark Reign, or begin the process of actually jumping into Dark Reign. And what I mean by that is we do pick up with the heroes right now wanting to kill off the Queen of the Skrulls, because apparently she's not dead. She was able to survive an arrow through her mouth, which honestly makes no sense. Either way, it does come down to the heroes actually wanting to kill her off. But that was the moment you have Norman Osborn take the shot, blowing her head off, which of course kills her off. But because he did that in front of a bunch of news channels, of course that led into Dark Reign, where you had the American government look at him and say, he's the hero. He took out the Queen and he saved the day. That right there broke the Skrulls invasion, and it's all thanks to Norman Osborn. But then that leads into Iron Man realizing that there's still more spaceships out in space right now who are trying to attack the Earth spaceships, but at the same time continue the attack on the Earth. And so you do have Iron Man and Thor go out there to do some more damage to the Skrull spaceship. But when you have the two characters actually doing that, you have Iron Man see something. And what he sees is something inside a particular spaceship. And he realized what's inside that particular spaceship. And so he grabs his shuttle and he takes it all the way down to the Earth. And when he does, we come to find out it's all the heroes that have been kidnapped over the years in Marvel Comics by the Skrulls now coming down to Earth. They're now on Earth now, and they're back together with their family. Now, this is going to be a very crucial moment. And you see how it begins right now with this section, because one of the characters who did get off is Hank Pym. Remember, he was taken in the earlier parts of our coverage over Secret Invasion. And when he comes on to Earth, he's excited to finally be free. But someone has to tell him, hey, bro, your wife just died. She's dead. And he's like, what do you mean she's dead? Another person is Jarvis. And let's not forget what just happened earlier. Jessica left her child with Jarvis, or what she believed was Jarvis. But in reality, it was a Skrull. And so with that being said, she realized, oh my God, if Jarvis is here and he's being held by the Skrulls, then who did I leave my baby with? And so she flies back. But of course, when she does, like we saw in the earlier parts of our coverage over Secret Invasion, the fake Jarvis took the baby with her. They're gone. And so now Luke Cage and Jessica Jones have to find their daughter. The next big moment is Mockingbird, because remember, in the earlier parts of our coverage, when it came to Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, when he thought he found Mockingbird, his dead wife, he was so excited. He was happy. But unfortunately, though, when he found out that the person he was with was a Skrull, he was so angry. And at first, he truly believed it was not a Skrull because he asked that Skrull who was pretending to be Mockingbird a very important question about the death of one of their kids. And so when it came to Hawkeye right now, when he sees the real Mockingbird, it's very emotional. And the same thing for her as well. And so it's a great moment. Now, you do have Reed realize, oh my God, there goes Susan, my wife, because she was also taken. We saw that in our coverage over the tie-ins for Fantastic Four. But once they do hug, they realize, what about our children? They run over, and of course they find Ben Grimm, they find Johnny Storm and their kids as well, and everything is okay. Everything is going great for the heroes right now as they're able to reunite with one another. But then here comes Iron Man. Because you didn't have Iron Man try to talk to Thor. Because when it came to Thor, when he was dead, he missed a lot of different things. World War Hulk, he also missed Civil War, and a couple other things as well. And so when Homeboy came back and he found out that a lot of people have died, that the heroes are now fighting against one another, he looked at Iron Man as the main problem for the superhero community. And so it's Thor right now telling Iron Man, nah man, listen, I came here to help out them, the other heroes, but not you, because you are literally the main reason why we have so many problems right now. And honestly, I can't believe that you thought one big, huge battle in New York, I'm going to forget and forgive you. No, I told you I would never fight by your side. This right now was not really me. It was more of me just helping out my other friends. And you have Thor leave right after saying it to Iron Man. Now, the ending to Secret Invasion does actually pick up with the American government saying Norman Osborn will now be in charge of Homeland Security. He will now take over as the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D., which means that Iron Man, Tony Stark, is no longer the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. And this begins Dark Reign right here. It was Brian Michael Bendis saying things are about to get a tad bit darker for our heroes now, because now Norman Osborn is in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D. And we know with him being in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D., S.H.I.E.L.D. goes bye-bye and gets replaced with Hammer. But this begins Dark Reign and also begins Tony Stark realizing that maybe he was the main problem for a lot of different things. Now, we're going to cover one more chapter, and we're going to cover Mighty Avengers number 20. Now, when it comes to Mighty Avengers number 20, it is the book where it's all about Hank Pym and him he feels bad about the idea that he was not there to save his wife, to hopefully be able to have his wife in his arms right now. Because remember, the Skrull that had replaced him is the reason why she is dead. The Wasp is dead. Because that person gave the Wasp some kind of growth serum, but instead it turned her into a living bomb. And so right now it's Hank Pym just upset with the idea that this man was not there for his wife. And so the opening pages is really him kind of thinking back to the time where he first said, I love you to the Wasp. And it was a very big moment for their relationship. Now, we also have to remember that when it comes to Hank Pym, though, this dude right here, him and the Wasp, they had a lot of different problems over the years. I mean, a lot of different problems. But for right now, it's just him kind of realizing that now she's gone. He realized that he was not a good husband for her, that he should have been there for her. And there's so many other kinds of emotions going through his mind, especially when after the flashback, you have them right now trying to talk to him about her funeral. And this man is having the worst time trying to even think about trying to give his wife a funeral. Because again, he had to go through the idea that because he was kept away, his wife was used as some kind of secret weapon to help the Skrulls win their invasion. But unfortunately, they lost. But still, this man also lost his wife. And so that leads into another problem for Hank Pym. And that problem right now is the fact that this man's face was used by the Skrulls to cause a lot of problems for the Earth. Because we have to realize, when he got replaced, when he got switched out, it was that fake Skrull going around the world right now saying, hey, I'm Hank Pym, but doing a lot of different things using the name Hank Pym, but in reality, it was not Hank Pym. Now, even though the Avengers told the public, hey, listen, guys, Hank Pym is innocent, it wasn't even him. But to the public, they don't believe anybody because all they saw was his face causing a lot of different problems. And so right now, is Hank Pym hurting in different kinds of ways? Because right now, the person, the Skrull that had replaced him did so much harm to his own name. Now, he does look over to Carol Danvers, and he wants Carol to tell him everything he missed when he was switched out. And let me tell you guys, he missed a lot of different things. And that is the moment you have Carol tell him everything he missed. This man missed the House of M when the Scarlet Witch said, hey, you know what? I'm going to warp reality. He missed that part right there. He missed the Civil War, meaning that the entire time they thought they had Hank Pym there, it wasn't Hank Pym. That was a Skrull. And so this man missed the Civil War. But because he missed the Civil War, he also missed something very important that had happened at the end of Civil War, and that would be the death of Captain America. And so this man lost someone else close to him that he was not there to actually bury. He was not there to be with that person, and that was Steve Rogers as well. But after that, let's not forget, World War Hulk happened as well, and that was the Illuminati's fault once again. And you had the Hulk come to Earth and name the people that he was mad at. Now, the reason why I say that because it's going to be very important very soon. But he also missed that event as well. And then he missed the death of his wife. It was so hard for him to realize that this man missed so much in that short period of time that he was replaced by a Skrull. But that's not it, guys. We have to remember, in the earlier parts of our coverage, we saw what happened right before Hank Pym was replaced. Him and the Wasp got in a huge fight, and because of that fight, they were separated. And because they were, this man went and got a new girl, but that new girl was a Skrull who took him out. And now he's kind of like, if I had just stayed with her, I could have been here for her. It's all my fault. If I fought for our relationship, stayed with her, and not go that other girl, I could have been here, and I could have saved her life. It's this man's fault in his own mind right now, and he's hurting so much. But then we get into the funeral. My gosh, man, this last chapter is rough, guys. But we get into the funeral. Now, when we do, this is actually huge because right now you have all these different heroes here right now to say goodbye to Janet, to say goodbye to the Wasp. But here is the problem, though. You have Hank Pym go up there to do a speech. And when he does at first, it's kind of him, expressing his feelings. But then he looks over to one particular person, and that person would be Tony Stark. Because all the different events that he missed, he's right now blaming Tony Stark. House of M, I have no idea why he blames Tony for that right there, but he does. But Civil War, that is Tony's fault. The death of Steve Rogers, also his fault. World War Hulk, his fault. Secret Invasion is partially his fault as well. The last few things that had happened to the Earth right now is all on Iron Man, Tony Stark. And so you have Hank Pym just going at him because right now, this is a man who's grieving so hard and he's trying to figure out, why did this happen? And right now, all the fingers are pointing right back to Iron Man. It's Iron Man right now being blamed for something else, which actually he is at fault for that actually happening to the Earth. But either way, it's Hank Pym saying, I'm done. And you have Thor just take him away. Now, the last few pages are honestly not that important. And the reason why I'm saying that, because when it comes to the funeral, after it's done, you do have Clint Barton, Hawkeye, go and find Norman Osborn. Because remember, by this point, Norman Osborn has now officially taken over S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D. is now his. And we know what's next. S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to be dismantled and replaced by Hammer. But on top of that, when it comes to Norman Osborn, he is going to come after the heroes who are not following that one particular law. Because remember, back in Civil War, a law was made. If you're going to be a hero in America, you're going to have to register. If you don't do that, he has to arrest you. And so when you have Clint Barton kind of express that he hates the idea of Norman right now being in charge of Homeland Security, you have Norman say, by the way, you, my friend, are technically breaking the law. I should arrest you right now, but I can't right now because right now we're at a funeral. So I'm going to respect everybody here. But just know, I'm coming after you. And so this is where we're going to end today's comic book video. But at the same time, we wrap up Secret Invasion. And now we move on to our next coverage, which I have no idea yet. But this is the end of Secret Invasion. Guys, I do hope you enjoy today's comic book video. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.